Alright, Shamu, I want to talk about what y'all just saw. First, we're going to address the use of the term black magic. We don't do that now, okay? It's baneful magic, it's malevolent magic, the connotations that are carried with black magic, we are trying to step away from those and its racist undertones. So let's try to avoid that term. Second, I want to talk about this as a philosophy and why it irks me so much. I don't need stuff popping up and making sound. Give me 15 minutes of silence. Thank you. So this thing says all magic is black magic, because it comes from selfish wants and goals and ideals. Who are you to say that what you think is good for your people? That's the whole point. That's the whole point of priesthood. Y'all gotta chill. Historically, and I've given this lecture a million times, so we're gonna run down this one. Historically, what did we see magic used for and went in different cultures? When we look at the Mesopotamians, we see the Ashipu, we see the exorcists, we see the priests, we see the healers. Magic was done for the good of the community. It was a social contract where you were given permission by the priest, who were given permission by the king, who was the mouthpiece of the gods. So you did not do magic unless you had permission from the gods. And when you did, you stopped plagues, you healed diseases, you cured people, you drove things away. You did that with no pay, no thanks. That's just what you did. Alright, let's move forward. Let's jump forward. Egypt. When magic was being done in Egypt. Make sure people had a good afterlife. Water for your crops. Alright, cool. Same deal. Alright, let's go jump over to ancient Israelite magic. Exorcisms, healing, warding off evil. Okay, cool. Wonderful. Let's jump forward in time. Maybe this was a snapshot in time. Let's go to Greco-Roman times. The fuck was Theurgia? You did magic to elevate your soul. You did magic to elevate those around you. Alright? Cool. So you're still doing it for the good of the community. This tracks on and on. The Byzantine, in the magic of the Caliphate, the magic of Persians, Zoroastrianism, everything. Even Renaissance and medieval magic, even parlor lodges. All of this was done a certain way. It wasn't until the mid to late 1900s we started doing this whole woo, do it for ourselves. Not all magic is inherently black. Not all magic is inherently selfish. Historically, it doesn't come from selfish reasons. It comes from loving your community and wanting to build up, keep safe, and protect your community and see your community thrive. That was the point of a priest. That was the point of a magus. That was the point of these Renaissance scholars. They all agree on this thing. Y'all modern day want to disconnect that and do your beauty rituals and do your love spells and do your sour jar and do your freezer stuff and do your this to get your bag and you want to get this, you want to get that. Sure, what y'all are doing, but if we're going to critique what y'all are doing, let's critique it correctly and say we've completely unhooked it from the point of magic. Okay, when I put on the priestly robes, when I become an Ashipu, when I have a client and they come to me and they say, Dari, this is a problem that is plaguing me, I am unsure what to do, I am having this trouble or that trouble. When I put the robe on and I say the prayers and I light the candles, I'm not sitting here saying, oh, the selfish, da-da-da-da-da, I'm going to do this because I need the money and da-da-da. I'm seeing a person who is lost, who is struggling, and I'm going to sit, and I'm going to talk with their ancestors. I'm going to talk with the gods, and I am going to see what is around them, and I'm going to drive away the things that are ailing them, and I'm going to set them up with future information and future things to do to set them up for success, so that ideally I don't have a repeat visit. That was the role of magic. What I just talked about there, that was the role of the magic. And while most, I will take the criticism that historically a lot of this was done for, like, no money. Like, the offerings go, the food offerings of the god to go to the priest, and that's about it. I still sit here, and no matter what y'all come to me about, and it's like, okay, pay what you think it's worth it, and that you're available, that you're able to do. Because that's how magic worked. We didn't step into the... Magic didn't exist for us to play little fairy tales and little fantasies. It existed to protect our communities. And I feel like this should be even more relevant nowadays, almost more relevant than back then. It existed to keep our communities safe from any sort of danger or harm or systemic oppression that the community would find itself under. We kept things fair in matters of court. We kept things healthy in matter of livestock. We kept the crops growing. We stepped in during droughts. Anything, if there was a harm to our community, that is what magic was for. We see this historically until we hit this whole postmodern craze. This whole postmodern craze that comes out of the 70s, the 60s and 70s and forward, and everything y'all got going on there. Only then does this narrative get dropped. Because y'all want to play Super Mage and High Harry Potter Wizard while your community is in shambles, because it's easier to retreat into things than to look at your community crying out for help and stepping up and doing the help. So no, not all magic is inherently black magic. In fact, historically, magic wasn't used for that. Instances where it was were met harshly with punishment, and were viewed as, with punishment, ostracization, legal charges. This wasn't done. What y'all want to do wasn't done. A priest didn't do it because it's fun and got them money. A priest did it because their community needed them to step up. Who's to say what's good for other people? That's where discernment comes in. That's where actually sitting and talking with the gods, divining before you work, understanding the rules of magic, making sure you follow up, making sure you have the whole story. Are you missing anything? Are you acting from justice as opposed to vengeance? That's all stuff that comes with the territory. So who's to say what's for the good of the people? If you're doing it right, you are. That's about all I got to say here. I got worked up, and I got another video to stitch after this. So shortly, I shall return. May your ancestors bring you the sweetest of portents, and may you have the most wonderful of dreams. Shall Mu.